Hello everybody, my name is Max and welcome back to From the Depths. You join me today on my latest prototype, a ion-engined flying fighter thing. It's been a while since I've done a From the Depths video. It's been a really long time. And I thought you at least deserve at least an idea of what I've been doing for the past however many months it's been. I admit, not all of those months were spent working on From the Depths. Most of it was spent on uni, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so, latest prototype. It's an ion engine fighter. It carries this single railgun turret. Ignore this. Just ignore that. It's supposed to be two double-barreled, 250 millimeters. When I spawned the ship in, some manner of thing has gone horribly wrong in the turret somewhere, and now it doesn't have that gun. But just pretend that doesn't exist and pretend that it's double-barreled. Essentially, this whole ship, all of it, is just to carry that single turret. I mean, you can see the turret in the actual ship. It takes up the vast majority of it, and it's huge. And it's great. And I learned all the lessons that I learned from my last ion engine, where I had enough recoil absorbers to make sure that nothing exploded and everything was great. But the problem is that the gun is just not accurate enough, and it's not firing fast enough. Fire showers are almost 2,000 meters per second. I know it says 1,700 there. Just ignore that. It's almost 2,000 meters per second by the time it's actually landing in the water. It orbits at like 2,000 meters or 2 kilometers, so it's really good. It's really safe. It's just not quite there, It's just not quite good enough. Nothing about this really justifies the price, which is almost 307,000, for essentially what is just one of my battleship turrets. It's nothing special. It's just one battleship turret welded onto the bottom of the plane. So that was kind of a waste. And then the one which really annoyed me, which I spent an extreme amount of time on, which I don't even want to talk about, was this. And this was my new Dreadnought prototype, because I realized that my previous Dreadnought was just not that good. So I was like, right, how can we make the Dreadnought better? And I was like, well, we need 4 guns, and we need, an extra place for another tiny little gun here, and we need like 5 layers of armor, and I want to make sure that I can fit an 8-meter long autoloader in the bottom here, so etc, etc, and it turned into this. And it might not look that big if you don't really have that much experience From the Depths. I mean, if you do, it probably looks massive. But let's just compare it to my previous Dreadnought, which, let's be honest, this is huge. And yeah, so this makes that, which is a Dreadnought, look like it's essentially a child's toy. Anyway, so we've had to scrap this, and that was really annoying because it took me ages to make this. But I think I learned a lot of lessons from it, at least. The number one thing which I learned is that the armor layout which I have for this is actually pretty good. It's got a layer of wood, a layer of light alloy, a layer of metal, and then it ends with a layer of wood, just in case there's any HESH shells or anything like that. So it really means that this thing is pretty resistant to most attacks, if that makes sense. I made sure to actually double armor the place where this deck meets the bottom deck, because I used to be able to get shells in there which hit, and then they would just like rip through. As you can see, with these damage settings it still goes through, but this is a pretty insane damage setting. Especially comparing it to the actual Dreadnought over here will probably be easier. As you can see, rips straight through. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. It's been a little bit of a disaster, to be honest. None of them have really worked out the way I wanted them to. I've been really hoping to like introduce a new ship to you, but it just hasn't really been working out at the moment. But maybe this is a good thing. Because maybe this is I've learned some stuff. As opposed to I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again. I feel like each design of my ship is getting incrementally better. I feel like, although I did make a video on this dreadnought and the Jupiter class, whatever I called it, I think it was Jupiter class, I don't think we're actually going to end up using this dreadnought in the campaign. I'm just unsure if it's actually good enough to justify using it, if that makes sense. I feel like the turrets are too big and it's not long enough for its width. I feel like that's the same problem I keep having with all my ships. I feel like it's too fat and not long enough. That's how it always feels. So obviously I need to work on fixing that, as opposed to just complaining about it. But yeah, that's been a problem. So I'm unsure what I'm gonna do. I have a few ideas I'm gonna work on. I might just talk you through some of them at the moment. I've been sort of considering just stripping everything off this dreadnought hull and just starting from the hull again and working my way up. I've been sort of thinking about maybe extending the back a little bit, etc, etc, trying to make that look a bit better. This is my previous dreadnought hull. I don't think there's anything I need to say about this thing. This clearly is not as good as that. That looks better than that. Superstructure is still a problem. None of my ships really have good superstructure, so we definitely need to work on that. But yeah. So all in all, I've been trying to replace this. I haven't currently got a ship which I think deserves a replacement for this. I am interested in what you guys think of this dreadnought and what you think is wrong with it, because I know that there's something wrong with it. I know that the armor isn't that good. I know that if you get a lucky hit in there, it sort of rips all the way through, and then it sort of gets to the turrets. The turrets are kind of exposed. You know, a lucky hit here and there can disable one of the guns. There's a lot of things I want to change. And then these like side batteries were sort of like late additions, and they weren't really designed to go there. So yeah. Anyway, so that's all I have for you at the moment. I know, nothing super interesting. But if you guys have any tips for this dreadnought, I would love to hear them. If you have any tips of what's been going wrong with my ion engines, I think it's, well, I am pretty confident the problem with my plane, space plane thing is that I'm not using missiles. I don't like missiles. I don't think missiles look as good as the full broadside from a battleship, you know? Like, that looks impressive with all the fire and smoke and the missiles flying. Well, the missiles don't look impressive. That was the whole point. But, you know, that looks cool. It looks like World War II sort of thing. And the missiles maybe don't look as cool, in my opinion. So that's why I've been trying to avoid using them, which is not a good idea. But, yeah, so if you guys have any tips, tricks, or anything that you think is wrong with this ship, I might put this ship maybe on the workshop if someone wants to pound it into oblivion, I suppose. Blow it up, put it against your destroyer and watch as it gets obliterated, etc, etc. But, yeah, I might put it on the workshop. I don't know, if you guys wanted to have a look at it like that, you can. Just let me know. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Again, I'm sorry that's nothing super exciting. I hope to see you again next time, where hopefully I'll actually have a proper ship to show you. That would be nice. Anyway, bye for now.